Good evening, everybody. You're welcome to this session of the Youth Campus Project. My name is Ivan Kalema, and I'm so privileged to start this meeting on behalf of everybody who is in this call. Just type in wherever you are joining in from. As usual, most of our friends will join along the way. But as Trevor teaches us, time is a leadership issue. And those who keep time should never wait and be at the expense of those who come in much more later. Today is going to be a very great day. I'm in anticipation. We have much laid up for us. We're going to have Trevor taking us to the next stage of the conversation. And as usual, and in a gesture of appreciative thinking, let us give him a virtual hand clap and as he joins the call, and not forgetting to appreciate all of you who have been very faithful and committed to this session. Thank you very much. Trevor, over to you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. And we're going to begin on time. As Ivan said, we're recording this session as we have recorded every session. And just to remind you, all of these 12 weeks are now online on the Youth Campus Project website. So if you go on to the Youth Campus Project website, if on the top right-hand side you click on the tab that says Masterclass, then you will have all 12 talks, which you can then sit down and listen to either on your own or with your youth groups. So this evening is the last of the 12 of the Youth Campus projects. And the aim we had with this masterclass was to try and support you to get started, to actually begin using the Youth Campus project in your own life. So what we're going to do at the end of the second half of this evening, I'm going to talk to you about what happens next. What are the next steps you could take or that we could take after this? So I am going to offer an opportunity to a smaller group of people, and you need to decide whether you want to be one of that smaller group of people. But I will talk about that later on, because I want to introduce our special guest this evening and welcome to episode 12 of the Youth Campus Project of Mara Banda from Malawi. So Mara, do you want to just unmute your microphone?
Yes, I have.
You have. Great. Well, you're very welcome. So
thank you.
I first went to Malawi in around about 2009, 2010 to bring the work of emerging leaders into Malawi. And I got off the aeroplane with 2 telephone numbers that someone had given me. So I phoned those numbers and I met those people and I said, what's happening in Malawi for the young people? Who is helping the young people to develop as leaders for their country? So I had some conversations, and at the end of that, I would say to them, who else should I meet? And they would give me some more telephone numbers. Well, when I was in Lilongwe and I said to them, the people that I met, who else should I be talking to? I think almost everyone I spoke to said, you should meet Mara Banda. So I managed to get her phone number and phoned her, and we agreed to meet up. And we've had a great history since then. So Mara and I created a thing called the Mara Project, and it ran across the whole of central Malawi for young people across all the districts in central Malawi, and the impact of that work continues to this day. Now, when I first met Mara, she told me her story, and it's an amazing, inspiring story. It's the story of a true elder, as far as I'm concerned. I regard Mara as a great elder, both in her own nation and for others of us. So welcome, Mara, along to episode 12 of the Youth Campus Project.
Thank you.
So Mara, can we...
I think Trevor has...
Sorry, yes, what were you saying?
Okay, I was just saying that Trevor has already said much about me. So I'll try to piece it other things maybe that I've missed
Oh, you've
from
got
that.
so much.
But
You have
that's
an
a very
amazing
solid
story.
introduction. Thank
Yes,
you.
you have an amazing story. So, Mara, can we start with your story? Can you tell us your life story from childhood to where you are now? Because it's such an amazing story. So take your time and expand on your story of what has shaped your life to get you to where you are now.
Mhm. Thank you very much. As Trevor already introduced me, my name is Mara. Actually, there's another name missing in the middle. I'm Mara Banda, but Mara Banda can suffice. As he has already indicated, I'm in Malawi and I come from the city of Lilongwe. Lilongwe is the capital city of Malawi and quite densely populated. I live in one of the communities that's on the peripherals of the city. I was born in Lilongwe 66 years ago. And basically, I grew up as a town monger because my parents have lived in the town all their life. And in fact, they have passed on while still living in the city. I went to different missionary schools. As you know, there are the Protestant churches here who have schools and the Catholics as well. But because my parents were Protestant, I went to the Protestant schools until secondary level, where I migrated into a government school and then moved on there to college. I met my husband and we married. We had a very good life, though short, but he suddenly passed on through a traffic accident and left me with 3 kids and a pregnancy that was very advanced because my baby was born, I think, a month after me had passed on. So I started living with my children and growing up together with them. Luckily enough, I'd been working and I've worked for different organizations. At the beginning, I used to be in the civil service and then I migrated to the private sector. And then later on, I went to the NGO groups. So I was just hopping around. I've worked for a number of UN family agencies and as well for some USAID organizations. Yeah, growing up, life was okay, just like any other child, playing, looking out for the good things that kids enjoy and all that. And then growing up and getting into a family, starting the responsibility of trying to find your daily bread and also to manage your house, however it was. And then, as I've already indicated, I became a single parent. So the struggle went on. And then I've got 4 sons. I had 4 sons by then. I lost one of them in, I think, 2013. And the 3 I have right now. So, whilst in the process of growing up, my father was a politician. He was a member of parliament for a good number of years. So we had quite a hectic household where people come in and out. You know how politicians are. And there's a lot of Malawi has got an agro-based economy. So basically, everybody, even though if you are working, you try to go and farm somewhere, maybe in your village or somewhere. And my parents were good at making you go to the farm. So this is where I started making my decisions of what I wanted to do because I could see his life, his other life, in the office space, maybe in the community space, and then see the other life now at the farm, which was a very tough life. So I always used to tell my parents that I'm never going to have a farm at all. I won't even have a 1 acre of land. I don't want it. I think this work is too hard. So they used to tell me, what do you think you're going to do with your life? So I said, no, I see the other life of that. I'm going to go to the other life. So the decisions or the choices started coming to me at that early level. Now trying to map myself, though I was doing it ignorantly, but I was still trying to shape myself. And then moving on to go to college, I always want to do nursing, but I didn't get into that space. I fell into business administration somehow, but I continued and then worked as I've already indicated. So I think that also led me maybe to be a stronger elder because as growing up, I tried to mimic whatever I was seeing in the other older people that would always be in the space that I'm in or maybe discussing things with my parents. So in 1999, while working for a project with IPPF in Malawi, who was doing basically a social behavior change program for the youth, and as one of the coordinators, there was all this information on HIV passing around. And in Malawi, that in that particular time, you could not mention HIV. It was a death sentence to anybody. You'd have to whisper those things. And we used to call it a government disease, Matenda Aboma, translated literally into government disease. So no one was talking about anything, particularly in the community where I come from. So because I was also working with these youth and having these information all the time, I made a decision that I'll just go and test for the heck of it, so that maybe I'd be a better coordinator, because I'd have the experience of going into the screening room and coming out of it. And by then, there used to be all kinds of stories going around that if you want to go and do an HIV test, they get a liter of blood to test. So there are all kinds of strange stories going on. So I wanted to go and see for myself whatever I was trying to deliver on the paper. So I went to the clinic at the counseling, and unfortunately, or I always say it's fortunately, I tested HIV positive. And that was the beginning now of, they could not keep me in the workspace. That way of now getting me out of that workspace. So I became depressed. And then I had all these huge problems. My children by then were in upper secondary school. So it was such a big challenge for me. And then I'm an open person. So when I tried to share this information with members of my community, I started getting the stigma and discrimination. It was really bad. In Malawi, we've got a culture where if there's a funeral in the community, people go around to get foodstuffs from the different households in little quantities. But people wouldn't come to my house. They'd say, no, she's going to give us the HIV. And then as if that was not enough, I think about 2 months or 3 months after getting that positive test, I got a positive test for TB. Now, I had the two most complicated diseases in one body, because for the TB in my community by then, they used to take it, it's a disease of unclean people. Filthy people couldn't even keep the household clean, and people who couldn't even do things correctly. So I had a double impact of these things in my life, and the stigma became so bad. And around that same time, there's a lighthouse. This lighthouse, it's a clinic which has now grown very big. I think it's across the country. But by then, it was the only clinic in Malawi that was dealing with issues of HIV, and you couldn't go to any other space. Around the same time, government was coming around with the ARVs, the drugs, and you could only get them in that space. Though we had to be paying, there were a fee paying. I think we used to pay about maybe, I think, $3 by then. So they had a group of volunteers who were trying to manage people with this infection around the different communities, though they would get pelted with stones and everything else. And then I saw that these people had a lot of challenges trying to do this work, simply because the communities themselves were not receptive of that support and how they could handle those people. So I started making a decision, though at that early stage, and I was quite sick, mind you, I was very, very sick. I couldn't even get out of my bed for 2 minutes. But I still started making the decisions that once I'm able to walk, I'm able to go through this, I should do something for this community that's going to bring a difference, that's going to bring a better understanding of whatever this is about, because there was no information flowing. At least for HIV, there was a little bit of information, but for TB, it was completely zero across the country. So suffice to say that I started recovering, and by 2003, at least I felt I'm strong enough to be able to engage with other people who had met at the clinic, because you know people in the community know each other. So when you go to the clinic, you see someone from your community, you start talking to them. So a group of us, we started talking. We said, why can't we bring a project that's going to be able to give information to the people directly? Because at that time, the behavior change module was that the people would come in from whichever organizations, and then they'd have a big platform, they'd go and then scream all these messages and go back home. You didn't even have an opportunity to ask them, and they didn't have that personal experience that we had. So luckily enough, some friends of mine agreed to, how can we start this? So we started this project in my living room by going around the community and visiting everybody we knew that had this, and then we bring the neighbors together as well to talk to them and give them the information that we had. It was a lot of work because there had to be a lot of reading. By that time, I think I didn't even have electricity in my house, but I used to go to the cafes and read a lot, bring up a lot of information, and started sharing. So in a while, this project started booming, and we registered everything with the Malawi government as a community organization. But our work continued to grow, and then we had to upgrade, because now the government was asking us to work across the district. Currently, we work in 21 districts in Malawi. By the way, I have 28 districts, so 21 of them we work there. This project is called Paradiso TB Patients Trust. Why did we put the TB there? Because we thought that the TB was a bigger issue for us compared to the HIV at that particular time that we were trying to bring this information to the people. Now, as I've said, the concept was to provide support to those who were not well, provide food as well, and any other information. And once they get to go to the facilities, we keep track of their medications, that they're taking them diligently. But then, not everybody recovered. Some of these people, they started dying now. So if they died, because of the stigma that was there in the community, the children that they left behind always followed us, because they knew we're the only people who were coming closer to their parents. And in the long run, we find that we had over 300 children registered as people that needed support who had all lost their parents. And the model in Malawi was to start a child center, a early child program, and then there'd be cooking for these kids, and there'd also be like a nursery school, maybe, a nursery school. So they'd be eating at that school, they'd be doing all kinds of things, and they go home. But then in the long run, the kids had to go to the local primary school. So when they went to that primary school, a lot of them became street children, because that the food package was no longer available. They'd come from the hungry home, try to go to school, they're hungry, go back home, they were hungry, and then so they'd start missing whatever they'd been trained to do in the younger years. So we said, okay, we have to find a project for these children, but then it should be that they are kept in their homes, but we should just monitor that they're going to school and having all those other needs. And then we had meal weekends, where during the weekend we'd come and cook for the kids, and they'd all come together. Yeah, we did that. But the kids would started growing. Now we had another problem, because they became teenagers. So we said, now what do we do? So we started the youth program that will be dealing with mainly youth issues. And that's at the point that now Trevor came in and identified us with the youth program. It was quite vibrant, and the youth were quite active. They could even counsel an elderly person or young person and give them all the necessary information. So at that point where we met Trevor, we discussed together and we came up with what we called the Mara Project, to empower the youth to make solid decisions, or how they can be leaders as young people, they can be leaders in the spaces where adults were claiming that was their own private space. So through that project, currently we've got 6 ward councillors that came from that project, the knowledge that they gained from that college, and we've got 2 members of parliament. And every time I'm crossing paths with them, they always tell, and even they tell their pals, this is the woman who did something for us. I'm here because we went through a project that she did called the Mara Project, using my name. So that has continued to the level where we are now. I feel that a lot of young people maybe miss the part where they fall into groups or their own youth group. They want to maintain their own space, and they don't have the opportunity to interact with older persons who are able to bring a difference in their life. And I think it's important for someone who's young to identify. These days, we've got a lot of role models. Growing up, I think this role modeling thing wasn't even available. I didn't even see any role models that I could say that I want to be like this one, as I've indicated. But I used to see a lot of people who are doing quite well in the different spaces, and I started mimicking that. I just want to be like those people. Like, especially I used to admire the office people. So I didn't want to be in the space where I've got to go to the garden, no, but to be in the office space. So I think the youth have got an opportunity, and they've got people who they can get in touch with and contact and ask them, how did you get to this? What did you go through? And by the stories that we share, they can also now start building up their own life. And this is something that I'd like to see. Now, through this project as well, I've been able to achieve a lot. So I always say that for me, I think being HIV positive is a positive thing to me, because it has given me a different direction where I get into the spaces where I couldn't have been before. I've served on the National AIDS Commission as the board chairperson, and I was identified through the work that I do in the community. I also serve on the Disability Trust Fund, which is a fund that deals with people with physical challenges, through supporting them with the different things, and even other institutions that produce materials that support people affected by disabilities. I also serve on an organization called Community Development Initiative, and this is an initiative that has been started by the former president, Dr. Banda, that's coming up with modern villages where we want our villages to have modern houses with the proper facilities, with proper windows, water, electricity, or maybe this solar panel electricity, whatever, but they should be modernized compared to what we have now in our village. So we can just have a round house that doesn't have a window. And then we go there with TB messages that when you wake up in the morning, you have to open your windows. Now the house is round with just one door. How does that happen? So there are all those things going on. I'm serving those projects. I've also served in other projects around the country. And I've also been in the spaces with very senior people who I even wouldn't believe that would be there. Like the just outgoing president, we were able to discuss with the first lady and invite her to be a TB champion to spearhead the issues of tuberculosis across the country with support from Stop TB Partnership. So a lot of things that have been going around in my life.
Wow.
So it was quite a pleasant surprise when Trevor knocked back on my door. I was really excited that he has touched base again. Yeah, that's all I can
Very
say
good.
for
Mara,
now, Trevor.
I've heard all of your story before, but every time I hear it, it still inspires me. And I hope it inspires everybody that, look, life throws things at you that you don't expect. That happens to all of us. The issue is, what do you do with that? And Mara is a brilliant example of someone who has led her own life. She got hold of the pen and has written her own life story. She's not let her circumstances write it for her. So Mara, I've got another question. So a lot of young people focus on the things going on outside of them. They want to obviously a job and to earn money. Sometimes we want to be successful. We want things in the outside of our lives. But as you and I know, unless you develop inside yourself, your personal development, you will never be able to sustain any outward development. And so if I asked you a question, how do you think a young person can take their personal development seriously? What would you say?
Well, I think you have already said it quite well, that you have to internalize the situations. First of all, is to look where you're coming from. Where do you want to go? Now, immediately you do that. If you're going through college or school, you have said that you're going to look for a white collar job, you want to do ABC, and then maybe buy a Lamborghini, whatever, and you move on from that. But life is not like that. And you have to seriously look and take one step at a time. What am I doing? What did I plan to achieve? It can be in the short term or the long term. You may have the long term. I'll give you my example. My example long term was to maybe sit in an office. But whatever direction I was going to take, I was not very sure. I've achieved to sit in the office on my own terms. That's what life is all about. So you have to have your long-term vision and the short term to say, I've been around for these 3 months. What have I achieved in the things that I want to do that are going to build me up later? Because what we forget as growing up, we always just think that you are going to be, boom, you're in the 40s and then you've got your pension, you're sitting there. It doesn't work like that. There's a lot of hard work and there's a lot of soul searching. So identify your niche and build on that. Even if you get something that's going to pull you back, navigate and still continue to reach the goal that you had planned in the young age.
Wow.
Trevor.
Yeah, good. Thank you. So when you look at the leaders around you in Malawi, if I said to you, what areas of heart and character would you encourage a young person to focus on if they want to be effective in their adult life?
Thank you. I think the backbone in Africa, maybe I'm talking to the whole Africa here, maybe beyond, I don't know experiences in Europe, but in Africa, we rely a lot on the community. So if you want to be successful and grow up into something or into someone, you have to make sure that you build good relationship with the community, because the community is always going to be there for you. Maybe in a negative way, like they did for me, the stigma and everything, but later on, I was able to turn that around. So if you build good relationship with the communities, you are bound to be successful at a later stage because they become your safety net in whatever you are doing. You still go back to your community as people from Africa. So I feel that if you have got a strong and good relationship with your community in general, it will be able to also assist you in building you up with all the support to achieve whatever you want to achieve in life.
And what areas of your heart and your character do you think a young person should work on in order to get good relationships? I'm trying to look at what the phrase we often do is, you need to do the work on yourself first. And I'm trying to just kind of understand, what areas do you think a young person needs to work on inside of themselves?
There's just one word I can give you, Trevor. That's patience.
Patience.
If you don't have patience, nothing will come out of it. Because most young people want to make how can I phrase this? Like prompt decisions. They just want to decide something like now, and then it should happen now. It can't. So you have to have a lot of patience to be able to drive and build whatever you want. So if you're not patient enough, things are not going to work for you.
And how have you developed patience? I mean, what have you worked on inside of yourself in order to develop more patience?
Well, it's trying to not be hyperactive if you are sort of working in a group form, but rather to listen to the things and digest the information that you are getting, and not to respond simultaneously. Even if you feel that whatever discussion is ongoing, I could have maybe made a better contribution by saying something, by saying X. But if you internalize it and then think about it some more, you come out with a better response than if you had done simultaneously. So that's how you develop patience. You have to listen more to whatever is happening. Now, the listening, I don't just mean listening to whatever is buzzing around you. You also have to put your ear to the ground and listen to everything that's happening under the current. Now, information come to you might not always be positive. There'll be a lot of negativity, but you should also be able to decipher that negative information and filter it, because sometimes the negative information gives you a better drive. Maybe the areas that you need to change, if you don't recognize them, the negative information that you're receiving will be able to identify those gray areas that you have, which you did not directly think about the negative information that you receive. So don't just respond to everything immediately or simultaneously, but try to internalize. And that's what patience is all about. You have to think about this thing and then come out with a proper answer that will be able to make a better person out of you.
Great, thank you. Now, you told me the other day, Mara, that of all the people we trained, and was it about 120 or something we trained? Something like that.
Yes, 120.
Yeah, you said all of them, apart from one, is making some kind of a positive difference in their community in some way. As you look at those 120, what other characteristics, qualities of character, qualities of heart, are you noticing that those young people that have developed, maybe that other young people have not developed?
Okay, you remember the one of the modules that we were training with during the Mara project was breaking the wall.
Yes.
It was not a very easy module to go through, but we did manage to go through that. So I think a lot of the young people are using that. The breakthrough was like a gentle push to get to the space and also achieve whatever differences you want to make. A lot of these young people, except for the girl who had a baby already, both just went on and got married and did her thing. But the rest are either members of the village development committees or area development committees. And in our communities, these are very strong committees. And it was not easy to get to that platform. As you recall, we had the 18 traditional authorities before we started the project.
Yes,
and they
I
are
remember.
the ones, they are the ones who are able to give me feedback on the young people, because they're always crisscrossing. They'll say, no, they make good contributions and they are able to be effective. It is through that, because now the youth have learned to push gently, get into the space, and then redrive the minds of the people to sort of come to the modern things that the youth would love to see within our communities. So that's what I can respond to in this area. Thank you.
Wow, no, that's excellent. So let's talk a little bit more about eldership. The reason why I created the Youth Compass Project is I think we need more elders in the world. As I look around us, the whole idea of elders that we respect seems to be getting less and less. So my thing was, well, let's inspire a generation of young people to want to become elders in their lifetime, like you. That's why we called it the Mara Project, not the Emerging Leaders Project, because I wanted people to see you as the role model of an elder.
Thank you.
So, so just talk to us about how you see the importance of elders and the importance of a young person aspiring to become an elder as they grow older. Just talk a bit more about that.
Okay, I'll share another story that has happened.
Thank you.
I hope I'll be very brief because I'm putting my eye on the time.
No,
Okay,
you're fine. You're fine. Don't rush.
Yeah, during the course of our work, we had one 13-year-old young boy who got diagnosed with TB. And then he was put through treatment. By then, the treatment was 8 months, and then he was cured. After a few months, I think 4 months, he was again tested positive. So we took him through the process again. After another 4 months, he was tested positive. So we began to think that there was something wrong in his family that he was staying with. And by that time, the WHO had not put in the concept of contact tracing. I think that's now in progress because we do that with everybody. But by then, that had not yet come up. So we thought about it and we thought that this TB must be in his household or something is going wrong. So we requested the health workers that we work with that we should visit this family and work with all of them. And we found that the main carrier in the household was the grandmother. Now, the grandmother was 86 years old. So I'm interviewing her. She said that she has never been to hospital, even if she gets malaria, simply because there's no one who can take her. She relies on her young grandchildren who, when she's sick, they just tell her, we're going to get pills from the chemist and they give her, but they don't take her to the facility. When people come with information in the village, she's too old, she's not able to go to participate. So we began to think, of course, we did support her. She also got cured of the TB finally, but she had it for a while. And in fact, she had a traditional belief that this was something that was hereditary from her family. And whenever she started coughing, she would go to the dambos, the river beds, and she'd spend maybe a month over there drinking the roots of the sisal plant, which was around there. She would borrow that and she would drink it and she'd be sleeping out there in the open until the cough subsided and then she would come back. But in TB, that doesn't mean that the cough has been cured. She still had it. So until she was properly treated by the medical personnel, that's when she was fully cured. So we started thinking at Paradiso to say, okay, there must be a group that we're missing of the older people. Maybe we need to do something for them. And we really did start this with full force. And we found a lot of TB positive grandmothers and grandfathers. And then that carried on like that. And then later on, there's an organization in Malawi called Malawi Network of Older Person. I think they got some funds from I think from Commonwealth to actually do a mapping of the older persons because they want to do a retirement package of some sort. I think they're also borrowing, government is also borrowing from Uganda. I think they've got those programs. So when they went to Ministry of Gender, who deals with those issues, they said, who can we partner with to be able to do this project? And they knew that we were more mobilizing the grandmothers and grandfathers. So Paradiso was identified and we partnered with them. So now this project was to bring elders together to reclaim their space and also give a voice. But we can't do that if we leave the young people behind. So when this project came to Paradiso, we paired them with our youth and we started this dialogue and discussing where the youth have to realize that at one day, no matter how long it takes, but they're also going to be an older person.
Yes.
So if they cannot appreciate these older people and start talking with them, that wouldn't happen in a good way. So we've got a lot of dialogue. Now the youth are realizing that these people, they are not witches or they don't do witchcraft, but they are there and they've got their own issues, which we need the young people to look at so that when they start now getting to that space, things will be better for them than it was for the people who are coming from behind.
Very good.
So that's the project we are doing, right? We call it, and we have formed associations around the communities, different communities. We are now in Lilongwe, Mangochi, and Chinji, and Mzimba in the north with this older persons project, and it's going on very well. And the young people have started now realizing the gaps that they never knew before, that they didn't know there were those gaps for them to be able to identify with the older persons, but also to appreciate that one day they themselves will be in that space. So that's the project that we have.
Wow, that's a great program. It really is great program, because that's how I see it. I see that. I see it as a circle going round, that the elders are mentoring the youngers, and the youngers are learning from their elders. And it is kind of the circle of elder life. Mara, that's really, really encouraging. Thank you. Do you have some last words that you want to share with young people, just for encouragement and inspiration?
Yes, I have. Not too many words, but to all the young people who would be able to watch this, make solid decisions while you're at the young age, and always remember that at some point you are going to be an elder yourself. So try to sponge in as much as you can from the older persons that are around you, but at the same time also keep track on your wishes and your achievements that you'd like to do in life. As Trevor said, it's a circle where you're just going round and round, young, old. So yes, and I wish you all the best. I think Trevor is going to share all my addresses. So if anybody needs to give me a holler or to shout at me, or you Gen Zs, you are welcome.
Very good.
I also become a Gen Z. Thank you.
Very good. Mara, thank you so much for being with us this evening. I really appreciate it. In a minute, I'm going to put your email as you've offered it. I'll put it into the chat box so people can communicate with you. But Mara, thank you so much for sharing your time and your wisdom and your inspiration.
Thank you, Trevor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So in the last part of this evening, because it's our last of the masterclasses, let me just bring these 12 weeks to a close. So just again to remind you, the Youth Compass Project exists for you. It's free. It's free for every young person in the world. It's free to help you invest in your heart and your character, because that is what will shape who you become. We've looked at, in the Youth Compass Project, we've looked at 22 different character traits, character issues. And Mara mentioned another one, patience, that's in there as well. Inspiration is in there. We've looked at them over these weeks. We've just chosen a few of the 22. But if you sign into the Youth Compass Project, you can begin this process of lifelong learning. So hopefully it's encouraged you to get started. Now you may be wondering, what are we going to do now? Now that we've reached these 12 weeks, we're going to stop. Is there anything else that will happen? Well, this is what is going to happen. So listen very carefully. What I have noticed is where the Youth Compass Project grows most, it is because one young leader has decided to mobilize a group of people. And we've seen it. You've met Landry from Rwanda. You've met Peter from Kenya. And you met Sinchita from India and Asia. And on this call in previous weeks, we've had Patrick in Uganda, who's mobilized his group. So what I want to do now is encourage those of you who think that you could find your way to gathering a group of young people together and starting the Youth Compass Project with them in the new year. So you might be a youth leader. You might have just a good gang that you're part of, or a good group of friends. Or like Landry, he's chosen the national cricket team. It might be a group of young people at work. Wherever you think you could gather a group. It's those people I want to speak to now. The people that think, yes, that's me. I could become a leader to gather a group of young people to do the Youth Compass project with. Now, I have invited, first of all, Landry from Rwanda to come back. And what I've asked Landry to do is just tell us what are the steps that he took to actually create this group in Rwanda. Now, he's told me what the points are, so I'm going to share my screen. And as he talks, you can see what he's explaining. But first of all, Landry, let's see your face, and so we can say good evening to you properly. Are you there?
Yes, I am. Hi, everyone. Good
Great,
evening.
there he is. Cool guy in Rwanda. Great to see you, Landry.
Good to see
Very
you too,
good.
Trevor.
All right. So, Landry, I'm going to share my screen. So we've got a slide of these points, and you just tell us, see it. Okay, Landry, it's over to you. Talk us through how do you start a Youth Compass project group?
I think, thank you, Trevor, and thank you, Mara, for the presentation. It was very good to listen to you. And I think the first thing is being the ambassador, because I think you cannot interest people to do something that you have not done. You need to be able to do, you need to do the YCP project first, but not just to do the project, but be living what you are reading and what you're getting to understand of it. Because I think from experience, most of the people that I've shared the link with have not just come from nowhere. So I was either having a conversation with them, and then I spoke about leading yourself. I spoke about character and heart, and then I said, "Oh, by the way, this conversation that we are having, there is a link where you can get more of this." So when you do the YCP project first, it starts impacting your life, and you start talking that language to the people that you meet, especially the youth, the groups that we live in. And then something valuable to me, I always look around who is next to me. I've shared it with almost every youth in my cycles, my family members, my groups at work. I work in a cricket federation, so the youth that play cricket, the coaches, the umpires, literally everyone that I could reach. But then you decide to take a group. It's easier when you're part of that group, or when you can be able to reach out to that group and follow them. So you speak to the group. I was invited to the national team gather, and then I spoke about the Youth Campus project. And then I spoke about what it meant to me and how it has been changing my life. And then I also spoke about the process of registration. So I shared that. I gave it to the team after explaining to them what the YCP project is about and how it can impact your life. And then I shared the link with them, and the feedback mostly, so you share the web link with them, and then they are able to see you show them the 2 minutes video on the YCP homepage. It's very easy to take 2 minutes and let them understand, and just also ask them questions where they don't understand what is there. So when you share the link, the registration link, the first thing that appears is, when you click open, there is a whole page that you go through reading about Mandela and heart and character. And people often think that they have started the project because the content is quite heavy on the page one. But then they stop from there. They think the project, yes, I've started. But they have got to scroll down to the last point of the page one and actually be able to register using their emails. And once they have registered using their emails, then they're actually going to be able to follow from module 1 to the last module. So number 6 here is around following up on each person. So registration, when I started following up, everyone that had opened the link thought they had registered. But then I had to follow up either online or meeting them in person, because until they register, they can be able to do the challenges and read through all the modules. So I started getting now one-on-one with them on WhatsApp. Just ask, how did you find module 1? And they tell you, this is what I learned. And then when do you open module 2? And then I find out that they have actually not registered. And then I take them through. WhatsApp has become very easy. You can share the screen on WhatsApp when you're talking to someone on video. So after that I now agreed with the team on when we will be meeting to go through a module at a time. So initially we had planned to finish all the modules in 6 weeks, because we are meeting once a week. But because of the intensity of how the content is, and when people go through it, you start understanding that probably we need to go a little bit slower to spend more time on the real challenges and how people go about them. Because when you have this feedback, after you agree on a time, we agreed on a Wednesday around 10:45, we do an hour and a half to go through module 1. When I went for module 1, it was simple. It's just registration, talking about using your today to shape your tomorrow, Mandela's story. Module 1, good. Everyone liked it. But then when we reached to module 2, the challenges needed a little bit longer. And then you can start agreeing on saying, okay, today we'll just do 2 challenges, intention, purpose, and that's it. You pull information from them. After you've agreed on time for face-to-face feedback sessions, now you allow yourselves to go through feedbacks for every module, 1 module at a time, or even 2 challenges at a time, depending on the pace of the people that you're dealing with. And also, one thing I realized is it becomes easier if you know what the group is about. Then you can use real life examples of what they need. So if we are talking about challenge we talked about who inspires us, who are the elders made life changes, who made changes in our lives. And players could stand up and actually point at each other and say, you became my elder as much as we are part of the same team. You helped me get from here to there. You talk about that same language that brings you guys together. And I think this is the way to go with a group. You set time, you agree, you help them through the registration, because if someone has not done it, it's quite not easy for them to do it. And then take it on as the learning goes, not just going through it. At first, we thought we were a challenge because of how much it means to the team, to the group. Or if someone stands, let it sink in, and then we can move forward. I think with that, it's just the leader of the group has to believe and understand that it's a journey, a life journey that takes time, and then create elders in the group that will keep talking about it. One of the things we did recently is, so in part of the group of the 38 group of the national team, we've got elite teams, and those elite teams are led by 4 captains in that group of 38 guys, and now each elder. So our captains are the current captains, but looking at them being elders in terms of the YCP group. And then I also added that the person who presents today is not the person that presents the next day.
Thank you, Landry. I really appreciate that. I'm just going to quickly then go over to Kenya and Peter.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Great.
And I can't put my video on currently.
Okay, don't worry. Don't worry. Just take a couple of minutes. I just wanted to know in a couple of minutes, Peter, from your experience, what else do you want to add to what Landry has said, or what do you want to draw our attention to in creating a group?
I think one thing that is just to echo what Landry said, is you yourself as a person. If you question the kind of a person you are, like your character, you as an individual, it will be difficult, maybe first of all, for young people to embrace it first of all. So the first thing that maybe you need to do first is to go through it, and constant encouragement, especially for young people, is the issue of so many activity here, there, distraction. And so as the convening person or the elder, so constant follow-up, just checking on them and being patient with them. Because remember, this is something that it works both ways. For you, it is helping you even as you learn together with them. And at the same time, it is giving you an opportunity to mentor others as you show them or train them how to mentor others. So for me, I think patience is key, and now getting the right audience. The right audience might be people who have availability of network, or if you are a convening person, like what Patrick was doing, if you have a set of young people and you are able to bring them together to a certain venue, you have your laptop or your phone, or probably you can be able to print those. We also have hard copies where you can be able to print, or even if not printing, just downloading them and sharing via WhatsApp. And you can just tell people, your team, can you go through them, and then we'll have a discussion at the end of the week or during the time that they themselves have set. It really works. But most importantly, if they don't see it in you, it will be difficult for them to buy in.
Very good. That's such an important point. Such an important point. If they don't see it in you. So it starts with us doing this Youth Campus project for ourselves and getting the experience in our own lives of learning. So where do we go from here? So what Landry and Peter have done, what Patrick did, are what we call in the Youth Campus project a convening leader. And you'll see that in module 1. When I describe a convening leader, think of Landry, think of Peter, think of Patrick. Think of this kind of person that gathers a group. And when you think of a convening elder that we talk about in module 1, think of someone like Mara. Who do you know around your group that you could invite to become like an elder, to mentor your group, to call on them for their wisdom and experience while you go through the Youth Campus project? So my challenge to you this evening, and to those of you who are listening on the video, is we're going to stop, and that's session 12. We're done. But if you email me in the next few weeks, if you could gather a group of people together, all right? Step 1 is that you are doing the Youth Campus project in your own life. So don't contact me yet until you're actually doing it for yourself. If you're doing the work on yourself and you've got a group of young people like Landry, like Peter found, and you think I could gather this group of young people together, and then what I will do in the new year is I will run a session just for convening leaders, where we just talk about the issues of how to get a group started. Okay? So I've written, for those of you who wanted it, Mara's email is now in the chat box. She offered to chat if anyone wants to chat with her. And I've also written my email there. All right, so if you want to copy down my email from the chat box as well, you can email me and tell me your situation. And what we'll do is we will form a group of convening leaders and do a session to help you to get started. So I think we're pretty much there, aren't we? Let's just check the time. Yes, it's 2 minutes before past, so we're on time. So I have a few thank yous. I have a big thank you again to Mara for taking the time to be with us this evening. A huge, huge thank you. And then I want to thank Ivan and the team in Uganda. And there's layers of the team in Uganda, because I know that this evening, Horovup, the NGO, I've got a group of 8 who are listening in this evening. So Deo Gracias, my friend Deo Gracias, and Ivan together, and few others got together, and we agreed that we would run this masterclass. So I want to thank all of the committee in Uganda that have helped make this possible. And I want to thank especially Ivan, because he has faithfully every week been here, set it up, emailed you, sent the links, reminded you. He has worked tirelessly to make this happen. So all of us owe a huge debt of gratitude to Ivan and the team. The last thing is, on the Youth Compass website, you will see 3 things. Number 1 is the page where you can sign up, and that's the main page. The 2 other pages is one that says resources. I've put all of my free youth resources on that page. All right. You can learn how to be a mentor, all kinds of stuff. A free book around developing heart and character. I put that there. All of the resources that I've got for free are on that page now, and they are for you to use and share with other young people. And then the 3rd page will be all of these 12 videos from the 12 masterclasses. Thank you all for giving up Wednesday night for a whole 12 weeks. That is a huge thing to do. Huge thing to do. So I applaud you, I congratulate you, and I thank you. We've had a great autumn together, a great 12 weeks together. So thank you very much, and I wish you well now and in this holiday season that is ahead of you. So every blessing to every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Trevor, and also for your time. We look forward to engaging more. Looking forward to everybody. We shall keep in touch to see how we can continue learning together. Greetings from the team in Kampala and everyone else. The good Lord bless you. Thank you.